Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru 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 Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadi Bhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namah Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudhanivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanam Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhakti Namro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Velini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, Coquier Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando, and Samtron Insurance Brokers Limited of 1126 SS Erin Road, Debe, and 225 Southern Main Road, Warrenville, Cunupia.
Over the past couple of weeks, as the Dasha Avatara series continued here on Datta Arpanam, you've been hearing the story of the churning of the milk ocean. This is a story which, as you would have seen last week, is closely linked to the Kurma Avatara or tortoise incarnation of Lord Sri Hari. Last week, you heard that when the extremely heavy Mount Mandara sank during the churning of the ocean, Lord Sri Hari took the form of a giant tortoise on whose back the mountain could rest after it was lifted again. In this way, that Kurma Avatara of the Lord facilitated the churning of the ocean.
As we so often see in Guru's actions as well, the Lord underwent so much pain purely for the sake of his devotees. He bore the weight of an entire mountain on his back so that the Devatas could continue to work towards obtaining that nectar of immortality.
Now that the churning has restarted, today the story will continue and we will hear what happens next. But as we were reminded when that mountain sank, no venture will come to fruition without first worshipping the remover of obstacles. So everyone, please open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 35 and join Pujya Appaji in worshipping Lord Ganapati.
Gajanana, Gajanana, Gauri Tanaya, Gajanana, 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 Gauri Pujita Gajanana, Gauri Pujita Gajanana, Rajakarodita Gajanana, Rajakarodita Gajanana, Tat Pratibodhaka Gajanana, Tat Pratibodhaka Gajanana, Shivanumodita Gajanana, Shivanumodita Gajanana, 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 Gauri Tanaya Gajanana, 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 Gauri Tanaya Gajanana. Hastachatustaya Manohara, Hastachatustaya Manohara, Varenya Patni Bhayaprada, Varenya Patni Bhayaprada, Parasarastri Sanandaya, Parasarastri Sanandaya, Tadiya Punyo Jayodaya, Tadiya Punyo Jayodaya, Gajanana, Gajanana, Gauri Tanaya, Gajanana, 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 Gauri Tanaya, Gajanana, Apurva Mushika Madhapaga, Apurva Mushika Madhapaga, Tadiya Sevanumodaka, Tadiya Sevanumodaka, Aguvagana Japaruna, Aguvagana Japaruna, Kalasura, Parastanana Kalasura, Gajanana, Nana, Gauri Tanaya Gajanana, Vekaviro विधायक विशुद्ध संवेद विधायक गजानन गजानन गौरी तनय गजानन गजानन युगे तृतीये गजानन कलो च धूम्रो भविष्यसि कलौ च धूम्रो भविष्यसि त्वमेक रूप सदा ध्रुव त्वमेक रूप सदा ध्रुव त्वमेव सच्चिदानन्दो महान् त्वमेव सच्चिदानन्दो महान् गजानन गजानन गौरी तनय गजानन 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 गौरी तनय गजानन गौरी तनय गजानन गजानन
On the free app SGS Posts, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, the one who composed and rendered that beautiful Lord Ganapati bhajan, has said that in this age of Kali, the easiest way to reach God is through singing His names. As always, Puja Appaji not only tells us what we need to do, but he teaches us by example and by making his instructions easier to follow. By composing bhajans in different languages and different ragas, by producing many albums which are available on iTunes, etc., and through the Bhajan Mala app, which gives us the words to his bhajan compositions, Puja Appaji is handing us, on a silver platter, the map to and vehicle needed to transport us beyond this worldly plane of existence.
To such a compassionate Sadgurudeva, pranams are again offered as today's contemplation begins here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's program, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Puja Sri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Koke Supermart Limited. Before commencing today's story, a story taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, as we should always do before studying or reading Srimad Bhagavatam, let us offer obeisance to Nara Narayana Maharishis, Goddess Saraswati, and Sage Vyasa.
Narayanam namaskritya Naran chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Now that the Lord had lifted the sunken Mount Mandara and in the form of the giant tortoise Kurma Avatara was supporting it on his back, the demons and devatas, using their full might, began once again to churn the ocean vigorously.
The Lord was happy about the vigorous churning because it relieved the itching sensation on his back. He didn't find it bothersome to incarnate as a tortoise and hold a mighty mountain on his back. Actually, it was quite the opposite. He was pleased that, due to the vigorous churning, the itch he felt on his back had eased.
Deciding that the strength and energy of the demons should increase, Lord Sri Hari entered into them in the form of passion, a rajasic trait.
And, in order to increase the strength and energy of the devatas, he entered into them in the form of pure divine energies, a sattvic trait.
In the form of sleep, which is of the mode of ignorance, or a tamasic trait, the Lord entered into the snake Vasuki. Actually, the only reason Vasuki survived the churning was because he was overcome by deep sleep. Had that not happened, he would have suffered tremendously during the process of the churning.
The Lord then manifested upon Mount Mandara in a form that was as huge as a mountain. With 1,000 arms he held the mountain, ensuring that it did not sway violently during the process of churning. Seeing this from the skies, Lords Brahma, Shiva, Indra and others glorified the Lord and showered flowers upon him.
Listeners, last week we were reminded of the many forms the Lord takes to help his devotees. We saw that as Lord Sri Hari, as Ajita, and as Kurma Avatara, that one Lord rendered his assistance to help his devotees procure the nectar of immortality. But now we are seeing an extension of even that. The Supreme Lord Sri Hari simultaneously manifested 1. On top of the mountain in a huge form that had 1,000 arms, 2. Below the mountain in the form of a gigantic tortoise, 3. Within the bodies of the Devatas and demons with their respective energies, 4. In the form of stability within the Mount Mandara, and 5. Within Vasuki in the form of sleep. He enveloped everything, reminding us that absolutely everything we see, touch, feel even, all of it is a manifestation of the Lord.
And so we see why we should never claim doership. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this is a lesson repeatedly taught by Sri Krishna. In shlokas 27 and 28 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Sri Krishna explained this concept to Arjuna when he said, Prakriti kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate tattva mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Here the Lord explained that the 3 gunas associated with nature take the form of bodies. They instigate and perform all actions, both worldly actions and Vedic rituals. But the person who is under the influence of ego thinks that he is the one doing everything. On the other hand, the one who understands the role of the gunas in the performance of karma or action, such a person remains unattached to the sense organs, and he also remains unattached to the objects perceived by those sense organs. Realizing that the Atma or soul plays no part in these interactions between the sense organs and the objects they perceive, he abstains from claiming credit for any actions performed.
Listeners, the concept of non-doership may not be the easiest to come to terms with, but the more we bring our focus to the divine, the less we will be inclined to focus on a false sense of I, me, or mine. When we spend more time focusing on the divine, we will realize that that one supreme divinity controls everything, even as you just saw in today's story, the 3 gunas. So let us bring our focus to the divine now. Let us focus on the Divine Mother as we join in worshipping her. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or website once again. Enter Bhajan ID number 639 and join in worship.
You've been hearing how the one supreme divinity takes many different forms. Well, through this bhajan, Puja Appaji reinforces this lesson by worshipping Mother Goddess as Saraswati, Parvati, Lakshmi, Lalita or Raja Rajeshwari, Girivaraja and Girishayuta. Once again everyone, the bhajan ID number is 639, so please join in singing this powerful divine bhajan.
गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं गिरिवरजा गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा మంత్రమయీ యంత్రమయీ తంత్రమయీ నిగమమయీ ఓం ఐం హ్రీం శ్రీం లలితాంబాయై నమః ఓం ఐం హ్రీం శ్రీం లలితాంబాయై నమః ఓం ఐం హ్రీం శ్రీం లలితాంబాయై నమః మంత్రమయీ యంత్రమయీ తంత్రమయీ నిగమమయీ మామవతాదితి ప్రసృతకరో రోధిమి బహుకరుణం మామవతాదితి ప్రసృతకరో రోధిమి బహుకరుణం మయి సారయ తవ కరుణ లోచనమీశ్వరి భవ శరణం మయి సారయ తవ కరుణ లోచనమీశ్వరి భవ శరణం ఐం హ్రీం శ్రీం హ్రీం मैं गिरिवरजा गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा వ్యోమగతా భూమిగతా సర్వగతా నను జననీ వ్యోమగతా భూమిగతా సర్వగతా నను జననీ సైవ సదా స్వయమణుషుగతా గోళగణేషు చ పరివితతా సైవ సదా స్వయమణుషుగతా గోళగణేషు చ పరివితతా इति चेतसि सन्ततमनुविदिता सा मयि सादरमतिरवतु इति चेतसि सन्ततमनुविदिता सा मयि सादरमतिरवतु ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं गिरिवरजा गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा वेदनुता बोधमता चित्तमिता स्वयममिता वेदनुता
महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात्
वेदनुता बोधमता चित्तमिता स्वयममिता निर्द्वय निष्क्रिय निरुपमपा मोहकरा चितिवपुरमला निर्द्वय निष्क्रिय निरुपमपा मोहकरा चितिवपुरमला घनवेदलताग्रलतान्तप्रिया संवृत सच्चिदानन्दा घनवेदलताग्रलतान्तप्रिया संवृत सच्चिदानन्दा ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं गिरिवरजा गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं गिरिवरजा गिरिशयुता ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं श्रीं ह्रीं मैं मम हृदये निवसतु सा
Such is the compassion of Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, the composer of that bhajan, that in one single bhajan, not only does he get us to recite multiple Bij mantras or seed mantras, mantras like Aim, Hreem and Shreem, which hold immense power, but he also gets us to worship Mother Goddess by many different names, so that no matter which way you best relate to her, you can relate to her through that bhajan.
And not only that, but he does all of this by setting the lyrics to the tune of Latanta Priya Ragam, a ragam known to have healing benefits on the entire neurological system.
Absolutely genius. You were just listening to Pujya Sri Swamiji here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Sri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. Today, you heard that during the churning of the Milk Ocean, the Lord entered the Devatas, demons, and snake Vasuki as pure divine energies, passion, and sleep, respectively.
Taking great pride in their renewed energies, the Devatas and demons continued to churn the ocean with great vigor. The agitation of the ocean frightened and disturbed the crocodiles. The smoke and flames that emerged from the thousands of eyes and mouths of the thousand-headed snake Vasuki completely destroyed the luster of the demons who, as you may recall, had refused to participate in the churning unless they were at the head of Vasuki. Bali and other demon leaders resembled ashen trees that had been burnt due to a raging forest fire. Drained of all their energy, they remained helpless.
The flames that were emitted due to Vasuki's breathing destroyed the radiance of all the Devatas as well. Their faces, armor, clothing, and garlands were all covered with smoke. Seeing this, the Lord, who has the clouds under his control, showered torrential rains upon them all. A cool breeze blew upon the ocean waters, renewing their energy.
The churning continued, but despite the unrelenting efforts of the Devatas and the demons, no nectar emerged.
Then the Supreme Lord Ajita himself began to churn the ocean. This Lord, who possessed shoulders that brought victory to the worlds, filling them with fearlessness, this Lord now held the snake. Using Mandara as the churning rod, he began to churn the ocean.
As Lord Ajita was churning vigorously, the fish, crocodiles, tortoises, and snakes became extremely agitated and were thrown up from the ocean. Whales, sharks, crocodiles, and other huge aquatic animals were deeply agitated as a result of this turbulence.
From the ocean, which was being churned rapidly, the terrible poison called Hala Hala emerged. It was impossible for anyone to withstand the intensity of this terrible poison. If the poison were to fall into the ocean, the entire ocean would be rendered poisonous. The poison began to spread rapidly in all directions, enveloping everything above and below. Terrified of this poison, all the devatas and demons began to run in great fear, not finding anyone who could save them. All of them then, together with their leaders, approached Lord Shiva and sought shelter in him. The devatas begged Lord Shiva to save them from the dreaded poison that was enveloping the three worlds.
Lord Shiva, who protects the entire creation, addressed Mother Parvati, seeking her permission, saying, "O Bhavani, I cannot hide this poison which is burning all of the worlds. The earth will be burnt if this poison stays there. Oceans will dry up if the poison is stored in them. In this creation of mine, only I must drink it. May my action cause the well-being of all living entities."
And listeners, see how through these few words of Lord Shiva, we learn valuable lessons. First of all, a marriage is a partnership. Pujya Appaji has said that we must not hide anything from our life partner. With these words to us, he is teaching us. With his words to Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva is teaching us the same lesson. We should not hide things from our spouses. And at the same time, when a big decision must be made, we must include our spouse in that decision and seek their approval. In any partnership, be it a marriage or even a corporate partnership, before embarking on any major ventures, all partners must communicate. They should discuss their plans and listen to and try to understand each other's views. This is a key component to any partnership being successful.
And with specific regards to a marriage, this does not mean that only a wife must seek a husband's approval before undertaking some large venture. Look at what is taking place between Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. The husband is seeking the approval of the wife. Again, we are being taught a lesson. That lesson is that we are all equals. None of us is superior to the other. So if we are not superior to another, we should never treat another being as inferior to us. Each one of us is a manifestation of the Lord's energy. So how can one of us possibly be superior and the other inferior? In Shloka 29 of chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself said, "Samoham sarva bhuteshu, name dveshyosti na priyaha." Here, the Lord himself said that he treats all as equal and has no likes or dislikes.
Listeners, let us not only learn the words of Bhagavad Gita or the stories contained within Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us learn the lessons they teach us. And even more importantly, let us implement those lessons. Treat all beings as a manifestation of the Lord and give up feelings of superiority. Develop feelings of humility. In fact, with such feelings of humility, let us join in worshipping Lord Shiva. Like the Devatas begged him to save them from the Hala Hala poison, let us beg him to save us from the poisons which can seep into our minds. Poisons like anger, greed, envy, lust, selfishness, and laziness. Please open the Bhajan Mala app, enter Bhajan ID number 2312 and join Pujya Appaji in singing the Pallavi and final Charanam of this enchanting bhajan.
सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा पाहि श्री सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा पाहि श्री सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा परिहार मां रक्ष हर हर सत्पक्ष परम शिव विठलाक्ष गुरुवर दुर्भिक्ष परिहार मां रक्ष हर हर सत्पक्ष परम शिव विठलाक्ष गुरुवर विठलाक्ष गुरुवर शिव शिव हर हर शिव शिव हर हर शिव शिव हर हर शिव शिव हर हर शिव शिव घर घर 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 हर घर हर घर हर घर हर घर सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा पाहि श्री सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा पाहि श्री सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा सच्चिदानन्देश्वरा शिवाय रुद्राय नमः 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 शिवाय रुद्राय नमः
May that Lord, Lord Satchidanandeshwara, Lord Rudra, Lord Shiva, may he protect us all. May he save us all. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. Before that bhajan, you heard that Lord Shiva sought the approval of Mother Parvati to save the world from the hala poison which had emerged during the churning of the ocean.
When Mother Parvati agreed to this, she showed us the level of compassion which Mother Goddess has for creation. Will any ordinary wife or well-wisher allow a person to risk his life merely because it will lead to the well-being of the world? Typically, they won't. they will adamantly object, or at least try to convince the person to change his mind. But, listening to this convincing message given by her husband, Mother Parvati, who was aware of his supernatural power and competence, agreed.
And there is another lesson which should be taken away from that exchange between Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. Each of them acted in a very selfless way. Each of them acted for a greater good and not for personal gain. Lord Shiva, by being willing to take care of the extremely poisonous Hala Hala poison, and Mother Parvati by agreeing to her husband taking on that dangerous responsibility. They showed us what true love looks like. True love, everyone, is selfless love. It is the love which the Lord, which Mother Goddess, which Sadguru Deva showers upon us constantly. It is a love which we too should learn to develop for all of creation.
Lord Shiva, having obtained permission from his wife, immediately took the Hala Hala poison, which was spreading in all 10 directions. He took it in his palms and he gulped it.
Shiva Shiva Hara Hara, 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 Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Hara Hara.
There are no words which can relay the depth of gratitude we owe to the Lord. We just heard that he swallowed the Hala Hala poison to save creation. But this is just one example of his kind and generous, all-encompassing love. Everything we think we possess is really a gift from him. So what can we possibly give him that he does not already have? Listeners, all we can give is the love in our hearts, faith in him, and devotion to him.
As an expression of all 3 of these things, let us join once again in Nama Sankirtanam. Please open the Bhajanmala app, enter Bhajan ID number 2174, and let us join in worshipping that Lord who epitomized love, faith, and devotion. Let us worship Lord Hanuman.
Hanuma, 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 Hanuma.
Hanuma, 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 Hanuma.
Hanuma, 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 Hanuma.
Hanuma, 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 Hanuma.
Anjaneyuni abhayamu gonuma.
Anjaneyuni abhayamu gonuma.
Anjaneyuni abhayamu gonuma.
Anjaneyuni abhayamu gonuma.
Karya siddhi
Hanumantuni kanuma.
Karya siddhi Hanumantuni kanuma.
Karya siddhi Hanumantuni kanuma.
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా.
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా.
హనుమా హనుమా హనుమాయనుమా
హనుమా, హనుమా, హనుమాయనుమా.
ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా
ఆంజనేయుని అభయము కొనుమా.
సుగ్రీవునికై రాముని మైత్రిని
సుగ్రీవునికై రాముని మైత్రిని.
సాధన చేసిన చతురుని కనుమా
సాధన చేసిన చతురుని కనుమా.
రామచంద్రుని మనసు దోచిన రామచంద్రుని మనసు దోచిన రామచంద్రుని మనసు దోచిన రామచంద్రుని మనసు దోచిన వానరేంద్రుని అభయము గొనుమా
నరేంద్రుని
అభయము గొనుమా హనుమా 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 ఎనుమా
ఆంజనేయుని అభయము కొనుమా. కీర్తిగా
అల్లన మెరిసి అంబుది దాటిన శక్తిని కనుమా
అంబుది దాటిన శక్తిని కనుమా
అవనిజ శోకము నాశము చేసిన
అవనిజ శోకము నాశము చేసిన
అంజన సుతుని అభయము గొనుమా
అంజన సుతుని అభయము గొనుమా హనుమా
హనుమా హనుమా
హనుమా ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా
హనుమా 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 ఎనుమా ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా రావణ గర్వము నిలువున త్రుంచిన
రావణ గర్వము నిలువున త్రుంచిన
రామదూతను వీరుని కనుమా
రామదూతను వీరుని కనుమా
సంజీవనితో లక్ష్మణు గాచిన
సంజీవనితో లక్ష్మణు
గాచిన కార్య సాధకుని అభయము గొనుమా
కార్య సాధకుని
అభయము గొనుమా
హనుమా
హనుమా హనుమా ఎనుమా
ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా
రామాలింగన సౌఖ్యమునందిన
రామాలింగన సౌఖ్యమునందిన
భక్త మారుతిని భక్తిగా కనుమా
భక్త మారుతిని భక్తిగా కనుమా
భక్త మారుతిని భక్తిగా కనుమా
భక్త మారుతిని భక్తిగా కనుమా
హృదయమునందే స్వామిని చూపిన
హృదయమునందే స్వామిని చూపిన
సచ్చిదానందుని అభయము గొనుమా
సచిదానందుని
అభయము గొనుమా సచ్చిదానందుని అభయము గొనుమా
సచిదానందుని
అభయము గొనుమా
హనుమా
హనుమా హనుమా ఎనుమా
ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా హనుమా
హనుమా హనుమా ఎనుమా ఆంజనేయుని అభయము గొనుమా
కార్యసిద్ధి హనుమంతుని కనుమా కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కార్యసిద్ధి హనుమంతుని కనుమ కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా కార్యసిద్ధి హనుమంతుని కనుమ కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కార్యసిద్ధి
హనుమంతుని కనుమ
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
కష్టములన్నీ తొలగును వినుమా
తొలగును వినుమా తొలగును వినుమా తొలగును వినుమా తొలగును వినుమా.
And listeners, on that note, we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadguru Deva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Bala Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam, Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on Podcasts, and scroll down to Datta Arpanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arpanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
ತಂಡ್ರಿವಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ತಲ್ಲಿವಿ ತಂಡ್ರಿವಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ಸ್ನೇಹ ಸಖ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಬಳಗ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಸ್ನೇಹ ಸಖ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಬಳಗ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ಪರಮ ಪವಿತ್ರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಪಾವನ ಪುರುಷ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಪರಮ ಪವಿತ್ರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಪಾವನ ಪುರುಷ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದೀನದಾತ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದಯಾ ಸಿಂಧೋ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದೀನದಾತ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದಯಾ ಸಿಂಧೋ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಮಚ್ಚಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಉಮಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಮಚ್ಚಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಉಮಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವರಹಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವಾಮನ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವರಹಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವಾಮನ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ನರಸಿಂಹವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಭಾರ್ಗವ ರಾಮ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ರಾಮಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ರಾಮಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಮಾತಾ ಪಿತನೆ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ಪಿತನೆ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬಂಧು ಗುರು ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ
ಬುದ್ಧಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಕಲ್ಕ್ಯಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಬುದ್ಧಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಕಲ್ಕ್ಯಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದಶಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದೀನೋದ್ಧಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ಕಲ್ಕ್ಯಾವತಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ದೀನೋದ್ಧಾರ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವಿಠಲ ವಿಠಲ ಪಾಂಡುರಂಗ ವಿಠಲ ವಿಠಲ विठ्ठल पाण्डुरङ्ग विठ्ठल विठ्ठल पाण्डुरङ्ग विठ्ठल विठ्ठल पाण्डुरङ्ग विठ्ठल विठ्ठल पाण्डुरङ्ग जय हरि विठ्ठल पाण्डुरङ्ग तन्दे तायि पाण्डुरङ्ग बन्धु गुरु पाण्डुरङ्ग सच्चिदानन्द पाण्डुरङ्ग नित्यानन्द पाण्डुरङ्ग सच्चिदानन्द पाण्डुरङ्ग नित्यानन्द पाण्डुरङ्ग रङ्गा विठ्ठल 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 श्री गणेशाय नमः श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्री गुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः दत्तात्रेयं महात्मानं वरदं भक्तवत्सलं प्रपन्नार्तिहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु दीनबन्धुं कृपासिन्धुं सर्वकारणकारणं सर्वरक्षाकरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शरणागत दीनार्थ परित्राणपरायणं नारायणं विभुं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वानर्थहरं देवं सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गलं सर्वक्लेशहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु ब्रह्मण्यं धर्मतत्त्वज्ञं भक्तकीर्तिविवर्धनं भक्ताभीष्टप्रदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसः तापप्रशमनं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वरोगप्रशमनं सर्वपीडानिवारणं विपदुद्धरणं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जन्म संसारबन्धघ्नं स्वरूपानन्ददायकं निःश्रेयसपदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जयलाभयशक्काम धातुर्दत्तस्य यस्तवं भोगमोक्षप्रदस्येमं प्रपठेत् सकृती भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्